Okay, welcome everyone to another Tech 20 Tuesday. It is the first and last Tuesday of the week, and we are going to be joined today by Wendy Thomas of the Oromocto Education Center, and she's going to be discussing GoPro and all its fantastic uses. So, Wendy, if you're there, if you wouldn't mind sharing your screen, I'll close my mic. Reminder that if you have questions, you're free to click on the participant box and chat in there, and I will answer those, or you can ask Wendy your questions directly. So let's take it away, Wendy.
Okay, hi everyone. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Basically, what I'm going to talk about today, actually I just want to minimize that participant window for a minute. There. Okay, what I'm going to talk about today is the GoPro camera. What you see there on the left is the Hero 3 out of the case, and on the right what you see is the actual GoPro camera in its waterproof case. And that little orange thing that's hard to see on the back is actually a little, looks like a life jacket, but you can actually attach it to the camera so that you can have it float on top of the surface of the water to film what's going on underneath the water. What the session is going to look like today basically is I've put the GoPro camera through a bunch of tests. We've tried it in a whole pile of different settings, and I want to show you some of the footage from that. But with the Bridget format, it actually makes the video look glitchy. In reality, it takes really, really good high definition video. So it's some of the video I'm going to show you looks like stop motion, but it's just because of Bridget. It's not because of the quality of the video. So Waylon will be putting up a link to my YouTube channel where you can see the videos, you know, how they're supposed to be working. I'm going to show you an example here of a point of view. It's a GoPro actually attached to a hula hoop. Now, hopefully you won't get too sick from watching it. Just so you can see that point of view. This one was on YouTube. It's not one I made. Now, the next one you'll see is a guy hooked it to his trombone. This one went viral. So basically, I just wanted to show you those few things to say that this camera, it's small and it's relatively inexpensive, but you can do tons of things with it. So we have a couple here in the district that of cameras that we're just starting to experiment with, see how we can use it in an educational setting. One of the beautiful things about the camera, though, is that it does have an ultra wide angle 170-degree view. It gives you that fisheye look, but what's neat about it is you can capture everything going on, you know, in a classroom or as you're going to see in a 12-passenger van. It just captures so much more than you could with a regular video camera. Now, what you're going to see here, it's a little bit choppy, but I just want to show you the clip of the video just so that you can see how much of the area it will capture. We actually went to the Grand Canyon, and I don't know if anyone knows Lynn Thomas Grattan, but we were in Vegas, a big bunch of us, and here we are in the van. The second thing you're going to see about it is that people forget about the camera. So you get all of this great footage because it's so small, people forget that you're filming.
Hello, hey! Is it showing us or is it showing straight? Showing up. What? Okay. Stay away from the camera. We're on our way to the Hoover Dam. In the Grand Canyon. Oh, yeah. And Route 66.
Okay, so you get the idea there. It just is able to capture so much. That footage was taken with, there's a suction cup mount, and we just stuck it to the dash of the van. And all through the trip, I had a remote. The GoPro 3, the Black Edition, comes with a remote control, so you can start it and stop it. And periodically throughout the trip, I would start it and stop it just to capture little clips from the trip. So I'm going to talk a bit, or show you a bit of footage that came from using the various mounts. The camera itself runs, for the Black Edition, which is, comes with the waterproof case and stuff, that runs you about $400. But it comes with some really, really neat mounts. You can get a baseline GoPro 2, I think, for about $200 now. The footage is really good on that one as well. It just doesn't come with as many mounts. Now, in my opinion, you can make mounts. You could get students to devise different ways to hook the camera to things. And, there's a few basic ones, though, that I definitely would buy if I was going to try some things in the classroom. And one of them is that waterproof case that I showed you on the beginning picture. This is the chest mount. It's just like a strap that the camera hooks to. It goes around your arms. And that one actually is on there, and the student is using the anaconda ropes. So it's, using the GoPro in phys ed classes is really neat, because you can show the point of view of the person that has the camera on. So you could also videotape students, performing different activities in phys ed class to model correct ways of doing things. This footage here, and I know it's glitchy, I apologize for that, but this is actually footage taken with the head mount, and it's basically just a strap, and the camera hooks to the front of it right around your forehead. We were geocaching in the woods here in December, and this is the point of view it gives you. What I find with the head mount is that it actually, your head moves quite a bit more than you think it moves. So sometimes with the footage with that, I was slowing it down just so that I wouldn't feel like I was getting sick when I watched it. This one is hooked to a golf club. My counterpart, Jana Shaw, is a golfer, so she used a handlebar mount and hooked it to her driver. And I'll just show you this one. I did slow this one down quite a bit when I did some editing with it, just because it was too fast. But notice the continual focus. It never goes out of focus. And it was neat to hear the sound. I'm sure you can't hear it there, but in the video on YouTube, you can hear the sound of the club that it made from the vibration when it hit the ball. She did not hit a house, by the way. It was a practice ball. Here we are. We put it on the roll bar mount, put it on the fork of her bicycle tire. So you can just see, you can just attach it just to anything and get a really, really unique point of view. This one was done with a suction cup mount on the side of Janice's house. Actually, I think it was on her patio door. But what was neat about it was when we stuck it up there and we just left it, because that's the thing, you can just leave the camera there. It captured this footage of the mother bird and the father bird actually feeding the babies that made a little nest up by her light on her house. So that's neat as well in education. For instance, if you wanted to videotape, I don't know, snow accumulation or whatever, you could just put it out there, let it go. The battery lasts about 3 to 4 hours, and then you've got all this, you could go through your footage later and see if you captured anything neat. So it's great for wildlife type of thing, wildlife stuff. Probably my favorite thing about the GoPro camera is that you can use it underwater, and it's continuously stays in focus. So I'm just going to show you this. We actually attached our GoPro with a suction cup on the outside of the vehicle and put it through the car wash. And it actually didn't move off of the windshield, and we captured some pretty neat footage with that as well. So it's really rugged. I did slow this brush down just so I could see what the brush looked like in slow motion. And I did have it tethered with a paddle hook that I use for my kayak, so my paddle doesn't fall overboard, but I did hook it just in case, but it never moved. The last thing I'm going to show you is we did put the GoPro into the laundry. And there it is, getting a bath. What we did here was Janice actually jerry-rigged a broken tripod, and it comes with, you can get a little tripod mount for it, and we put it on the top of this, we made a monopod out of it, and I put it in my, this is me kayaking, and I actually put it in the fishing hole of my kayak. That's Janice behind. She has a GoPro attached to her boat, as you can see as well. But what was neat about that is I can videotape myself kayaking and then turn it around to videotape a front version of what I'm seeing in the water and all of that sort of thing. It's great for water sports. So again, something I love about the camera, it's got continual focus. If you notice with a regular video camera, when you start videotaping and there's action happening and you swing around quickly with your arm, the camera will be out of focus and it'll take a couple of seconds to refocus on whatever it is you're pointing at. With the GoPro, even if you're moving really, really fast, it's always in focus. So when you slow it down or put it into, you know, you edit it, the footage, and you make it into slow-mo footage, it still looks really good. Now this part, I'm actually going to move ahead just because the video is really, really long. But what I want to show you here is that the students, and sorry for this, I'm just going to scrub it ahead here a little bit. The kindergarten or grade 1 students actually, or grade 2 I think it was, raised salmon in their classroom. So what I did was I took the GoPro camera out and videotaped the process of the students releasing the salmon into the stream. So I'll just play a little tiny bit of this because I realize the video is quite glitchy, but what was neat about it was I was able to put the camera inside the cooler where the actual, see the fish down below where the fish were, so I could videotape the fish in the cooler and I could videotape the fish being released into the stream. So I'm just going to play a little tiny bit of that just so you can get an idea. Okay, so you get the idea behind it anyway. I couldn't believe when I got the footage back that I was actually able to see the little salmon fry swimming down into the brook. The one thing about the camera is it doesn't work well in low light situations, so I didn't know if the footage would turn out in that brook because it was actually quite dark in there, but it turned out better than what I thought. So there are settings on the camera. You can put it on. I tend to keep it on that wide angle view just because I like how it captures so much, but it gives you that fisheye effect. What you can do is put it, there's different settings for it so that you can, if you intend to make the video into slow motion, you can put it on that setting and it'll be better for slow motion stuff. Now that one was on the ultra wide angle footage. This is just going to be a little piece of the shop teacher, Rocky Fowler. What his kids do is they actually create those cars, CO2 cars. And what we did was hooked a GoPro camera to a CO2 car. We actually did 2 of them side by side because we wanted to film the car going across on the string. So again, I'll just show you a little piece of this. degrees. So you can see the camera on the car. And we slowed it down. And we also did a rocket launch, and I filmed some of that. Again, you can see that wide angle. I thought it would be neat if we could hook the camera to the rocket, but the camera is quite heavy. What I was able to do, though, was do a really slow-mo of the rocket, so the kids liked that when they saw the video after. And the sound. The neat thing about the camera as well is that it takes really good photographs. I'll just show you a few. Some of these ones I just randomly take with the remote when I've been paddling. The one thing about it is that on its own, the GoPro does not have a viewfinder. So sometimes when I'm taking photos, I'm guessing as to what it is, you know, what's in the frame of the picture, but I'm getting better at that. Now there is an app for the phone that you can have to run your GoPro and to actually see. It creates a live screen for it. Or you can buy a back for it. I think it's $100 though to hook onto the back of the GoPro. I personally find the phone app a little bit glitchy, but now I put in here, this is a shot actually of canoeing down the Tobic, and you notice that it's a little bit fuzzy, and the reason for that is the camera was taking underwater shots and the water's really cold, and then when I pulled it up to take the photograph, the case fogged up. So you can actually buy fog inserts for it as well. I'm sure you could rig up your own homemade thing though to put on the side of the camera that would do a job just as well. It does stop motion. This is 104 photos it took. I think it took a photo every second. I'm just paddling in Ormecto. And then you can put it together to make a neat movie. This would be a great thing. I always thought I'd like to do like snow accumulation on a deck or something like that and then speed it up. The camera would be great for that. So a few things that we've talked about for GoPro video cameras in education, or any point of view video camera. There are a few more out there. I'm not really familiar with any of the other ones other than this one, but I just thought it would be neat to use the GoPro footage as writing prompts. Especially if you were teaching point of view writing, the GoPro gives you a uniquely first person point of view. And you know, even when I see that GoPro in the washing machine, it would be a great writing prompt for kids. In science, there are numerous different things you could do with it in science, and a few things I just listed there. You can capture nature footage. A teacher here at Harold Peterson actually put a GoPro on a rock and left it in the Nashwauk for a couple of hours, and he captured turtles actually sunning themselves in the Nashwauk. So just things like that. You could, you know, if the liquid you were experimenting with was something not, you know, not going to eat the camera, you could actually put the camera in, immerse it into the liquid, or even it'll film well through glass. You could document change over time, and you saw the fish video that we did. You could, you know, put the GoPro camera inside where you're raising butterflies or chicks or anything like that. For physics, you could record motion or speed, inertia. We talked about in math, you can do some graphing things with the footage. But what I love about it the most is just that it fosters creativity, because kids get thinking, oh, look at what else can I put this camera on? What could we record? Could we, you know, put the camera on in the inside of an engine? Where could we put the camera? In social studies, what it gives you really is different perspectives. So just exploring, you know, things from different people's points of view. We had talked about maybe putting the GoPro camera, hooking it to one of the students that goes to OHS and is in a wheelchair, and what would her perspective be? You know, it would be interesting to see that. And then in phys ed, as you saw with the anaconda ropes, you could teach form, you can model skills. There's just all sorts of things. Just to wrap it up, a few of the things we've learned about the GoPro camera are you need to hold it steady. When you're hand holding the GoPro, you wouldn't believe how much your body moves until you look at the footage. The footage turns out better if it's, sitting on something that isn't moving so much. Or if it is moving, mount it so that it's tight, it's not jiggling too much. There is an app, a remote, you can get a live back. I probably wouldn't bother with the live back, but the remote has been really, really handy. The app, I'm still playing around with that. The other thing we've noticed is that if you have it on that ultra wide angle, it's important to move it close to the subject. The footage is huge because it's high definition. So we always tell people, take small clips and edit them right away because you immediately become overwhelmed by the size of the file. They're really, really large. So I have a hard drive just dedicated to GoPro footage. Adjust the settings depending on what you're filming. I had, I can't remember what it was now, but I was filming something, and what I saw when I got the footage back, which was disappointing, was the blinking red light at the front was on, and I could see it through all my footage. So that there's a setting to turn that thing off, that blinking light. So just little things like that. Battery life is an issue. The most you could probably get out of it would be 4 hours, and that's stretching it. I did buy more than one battery. I purchased them through Amazon and a charger for the wall, and I just keep charging them up. I have three, I think I have, yeah, I have 3 batteries, and I just keep alternating through them. Now I do have to say I kept one of my batteries in my life jacket, and the life jacket got wet and the battery still worked. So they are quite versatile, and they're tough. The other thing is what I would suggest is be creative with the camera and change the camera angle. In the summer, I created or generated a lot of footage through kayaking, but I started noticing that the footage was a little bit boring because I never moved the camera around. I always had it on that tripod, so I started like sticking the camera onto the side of the boat with the suction cup just to give different angles, and it keeps the interest up. And again, the hard drive to store the footage. And that's about it. I'll just open up the mics now for any questions, if there are any.
So people have seemed to be pretty quiet here. I think they're probably thinking about everything that they've seen, Wendy.
Okay.
I really like this. Is amazing. I was writing notes here as I was listening. Great for some of that outdoor stuff that you showed. We have a question here. Oh, good. I see Ian has his hand up.
Okay.
Ian,
Hi, Ian.
if you want to open your mic, Ian, go ahead and speak, or if you want to type it in the chat.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Wendy, you and I have talked just recently through email. We did just purchase 2 GoPros this past weekend. Just wanted your feedback. What pros or cons on the 32 gigabyte micro card or the larger 62? Is there any benefits to having the larger card for the way the data gets downloaded from the camera?
No, I'll tell you why you might want that large card. Although, to be honest with you, I videotaped quite a bit on that and have never hit the 64, gig space. It's just space, right? So if you were going to leave your camera out, I don't know, all night long, and you wanted to videotape, something for a long period of time, you need a bigger card. But I think the 32 would be fine because the battery would die before the card would be filled anyway. So 32 would be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Another thought with the cards, just to kind of build on that, is I like going with smaller cards and I'll switch them out more often. And it's good when you're doing things on the fly, if you can continue to collect data, but then be working with some of the footage that you already have. Plus, if a card goes corrupt, you still have another one to swap out.
Yeah, it's
just
true.
a thought on that.
Yeah, no, I have a 64 card, and it, I don't know, it's large, and I've never filled it. I've never even filled filled half of it. But you're right, Waylon, when you say that, like the card, I don't know, I wished I had have gotten 2 smaller cards than that 1 large card, in hindsight.
Well, I think things have quieted. Oh, we have Ian back. Go ahead, Ian.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, sorry, last question.
No, it's okay.
Perhaps I'm a little overzealous. Anyway, just wanted to know, with respect to downloading the footage from the GoPro, what if it's such a large file? So let's say we've got a couple choices. You could download it. I know we have a lot of we've got a couple MacBook Pros here, so I was thinking about putting it into iMovie. But also, I know that the GoPro website has its own software. Is there pros or cons of using iMovie or utilizing the software that GoPro has? I'm just looking for something that, as you stated, when it gets processed, that it would avoid making the footage glitchy. So I just didn't know which way to go.
Well, here's my little piece of advice to you on that. You could do either or. It wouldn't make any difference. The file size will still be the same. And it won't be glitchy. Like, I tend to use iMovie for my clips, but like we had said in that session, what iMovie does when you put it in there is it compromises the high definition aspect. It doesn't actually bring it in high definition. And I mean, that to me is what the beautiful part of that camera is that it gives you that really good footage. So I've played around a little bit with the software on the GoPro site, and I would suggest using that software on the GoPro site if you can wrap your head around it. And I don't think it's that hard to use because it actually maintains the HD quality.
Okay, I promise I'm done. Thank you.
Well, all right. That was great, Wendy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. It was nice talking to everybody. Any questions you might have on it, feel free to find me on, link or email me any questions at all. It's a passion of mine and Janice's, this GoPro camera, so we'd love to hear how you're using it in the classroom as well.
Fantastic. And a reminder, everyone, that we will be putting this video on the Tech 20 Tuesday site to view later or to share with others. You may have a group of people in your school who would maybe get together and figure out how to finance one of these cameras. But that's great.
Great.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks, Waylon.
See
Bye,
you all
everyone.
next week.